Hi, in this video we're going to ask the question, should we be starting to put pandemic clauses in our divorce decrees? Hi, my name is Sean Palmer and I have been practicing exclusively in the area of family law for the last 18 years here in the great state of Texas. And we're going to ask today the question, with all the pandemic going on and the potential future for pandemics to go on, should we be modifying our divorce decrees to account for the unaccountable? So in contract law, which is not what we're talking about here in family law, but in contract law, they often put something in there called a force majeure clause. And it basically means that if something happens that nobody anticipated, then one of the two parties doesn't have to fully carry forward with the contract. They can either delay performance, or they don't have to perform at all should some unforeseen act happen that prevents them from performing on the contract. So things like natural disasters and things like that are usually what we see in contract law. But when we're doing divorce decrees, we of course want to make sure that the decree is as long lasting as possible. The last thing we want is to have litigants keep coming back to the well and keep having to relitigate over and over again. So we often try to make the divorce decrees as long lasting as possible and foresee as many contingencies as we possibly can. Maybe it's time that we should start thinking about putting a pandemic clause in the divorce decrees the way they do in contract law. So for example, let's say that as part of the parties' agreement, they agree that the husband will pay the wife spousal support for a period of time. And then suddenly we have another pandemic, something that wasn't anticipated. And the husband, now former husband, will not be able to perform on that contract because his income has been reduced. So we could put into the divorce decree that should an unforeseen event happen, such as a pandemic, that would reduce 20%, say, of his income, then he would have to reduce 20% of the spousal maintenance that he would otherwise have to perform. So this will anticipate that sort of event and prevent parties having to go back to court about things. Now, there's a whole lot of considerations to take into that. For example, if the other spouse is living on that money, chances are that spouse will also have their income reduced because of a global pandemic or something, and so there's a kind of a double whammy on that person. But all of that is kind of a issue of negotiation more than it is of making things not impossible. So I'm just suggesting that perhaps as we are moving into a new era where we have extraordinary global pandemic things happening and things of this nature, that we might want to start anticipating that and putting them into our divorce decrees so that our clients will have a divorce decree that's effective for as long as possible. Just a thought. So you should ask your attorney about potentially putting in a pandemic clause into your divorce decree and to try to anticipate things. So there's some thoughts for you. Well, thanks for listening. My name is Sean Palmer at the Palmer Law Firm, where we can't protect your heart, but we can protect your rights.